King of the Garage. Time is now 5:15. As you know how we do around this time. Shout out to all the mechanics worldwide checking in from wherever you at. Hopefully you hit that alarm so you know that we on live every day at 5 o'clock, with the exception of Sunday. We come on here and get busy, so all mechanics report to duty. Let's get on in here, get your coveralls, get your tool belt. Let's get this thing on the rack and see where we at. Hit the likes, hit the subs. That's how you show your boy love. Hit the hype and hit the share, as people see it around how we doing around here. Again, here for quick time, not a long time. Um, respect to the room, respect to all the mechanics pulling up. Salute to all y'all. I'll give it a couple seconds so we can get warmed up. Hopefully everybody is enjoying their weekend. I know mine was pretty good. Um, mine was pretty good. Very good birthday party last night. Shout out to Gat Taylor for putting it together. It was fire. And of course, I want to get into the Remy Ma talk, and we got music actually happening. Shout out to Remy, who not for nothing, whatever you gonna say about whoever you gonna say it about, Remy decided to get into some back and forth style shenanigans. She took it straight to music. This is exactly what it's supposed to look like. Yeah, straight to music. They had that back and forth, little verbal stuff in the chat, but we ain't see like a gang of posts before it finally came to music. And you know what? Even if she did post it up, she didn't pull a 50. She got to the music. She gave them people verses and did it in such a way where everybody knows who she's talking about, even though she didn't mention the name. That's hard. That's hard. That's fire. That's fire. But I digress. Of course we're gonna get into that. Of course we're gonna have to talk about that. Um, Pulling the 50 is a thing, bro. You way more interested in you way more interested in than it's pulling the 50. It's a verb now. Um, but I digress. Found out that a female came and rep B74. You're 100% correct. Like, shout out to B74, mama mechanic in the room. Um, Calvin, good to see you. And yes, last night was cinematic. Shout out to Gat Taylor. Still got that announcement coming for y'all that we talked about, but that's in a minute. Listen, man. Um, it's obvious last night kind of beat me up a little something, something. So I'm not gonna jump. I'm not gonna go super heavy, but I do want to tackle this um Afrika Bambaataa situation. I've had a bunch of people all in my texts, um, all in my comment section. The group chats are blowing up. How do you feel about the fact that Bambaataa died, and what he was accused of, and all this other? Can you still got respect for him? He's a founder of hip hop. What does that say about hip hop? And if you know anything about me, that's the main reason why I'm addressing it. That comment right there was enough to make me go, oh, okay, this is what we doing. This is what we doing. It's that kind of night. Um. So yeah, let's just discuss it honestly. Um. Yes, Afrika Bambaataa was a founder of the culture of hip hop. Peace, love, unity, having fun. You'd be lying to try to disregard, overlook, or downplay that fact. That's just what it is. He was also a very sick individual. Ain't no getting around that either. And you'd be dead wrong to try and downplay, disregard, or overlook that fact. He was a sick man. He was a sick man. And he's not the first sick man to create something or be a founder of something that everyone enjoys. Um, hit the likes, hit the subs, please. You hear B74 talking it. Hit the likes and hit the subs, please. It really helps boost the algorithm and get this channel in front of more eyes. And we are talking some stuff that I think hip hop heads everywhere can benefit from. So please do me and B both that favor and all the other mechanics that favor. Go ahead and hit the likes. Um, for those of you who don't know, um, Bambaataa was there's not even a nice way to say it. He was on his Epstein when it came to children. He was on his Epstein. Um, yeah, it's really bad. It's really bad. Just to leave it, because I don't want to do a whole bunch of talking on that specific thing. I'm going to leave more people a little bit that, and I don't even want to get flagged. Like it's really nasty to it's really nasty. Um, but yeah, he was on his Epstein, and if you know how I feel about you know that crowd, the PDF file dude, throw them in the wood chipper, bro. And throw them in the wood chipper. Like we can drop them in our active volcanoes. I'm cool with that. Ain't no getting around that. And there's also no getting around the fact that this man is a founder of a culture that that I'm all about. I'm always have been. So how do you make sense out of those two? Well, I think like anything else, I'm also an American, but it's never going to be lost on me that the founding fathers were slave owners. I'm a black man born in America. I have not left America. I have not disregarded America. I'm pissed at America, but it is what I have the right to be pissed at America as an American. And our founders were slave masters. And I'd like to think that we've come much further away from the morals and standards of the founders of America. I mean, actually, I'd like to think we've come further, just as far away from the morals and standards of the original founders as hip hop has come away from the sickness that is Afrika Bambaataa, the sickness that was Afrika Bambaataa. And Bambaataa didn't infuse his sickness in hip hop. You dig what I mean? That wasn't a part of the principles that were put down as the foundation of hip hop. Peace, love, unity, having fun. All great things. And no one knew at the time that he was sick. No one knew at the time. Well, you know what? Let me not say no one. Um, but he was sick. He was sick, and that's something we all have to deal with. And you can't just chalk it up with some. Well, the man wasn't perfect. This is beyond not being perfect. The man was sick. He was a sick individual. So, can you still enjoy an R. Kelly song knowing, what his habits and inclinations and sicknesses? Can you still live in America knowing that the founders held slaves. I don't stand for the anthem because once I found out what was being said in the second verse, I can't make myself do it. I know plenty of people, there are DJs who get requests. My friends are DJs. They'll tell you in a wedding, family reunion, they get R. Kelly requests. And there's little kids running around the place, and they feel crazy for even entertaining the idea of playing R. Kelly. So this isn't the first time. This isn't the second time. We all know who Elvis Presley married, and Graceland does numbers every year. We have to figure it out. People have to come to terms with themselves when it comes to stuff like this, and it's not easy for everybody. Personally, I think Mark Lamont Hill had the best approach when you start getting ready to give when you start getting ready to give your rest in pieces to Bambaataa, dead that, and instead wish peace and healing for his victims. Great compromise. Great compromise. It's a shame that this is a part of the dude's legacy, but it is. It is. Trying to pretend that it's not, something wrong with you. Acting like it's not there, something's wrong with you. This is it. There's no getting around it. And for the people hitting me up asking me like how I feel about it, like anybody else, like anybody, like any other one of them, doing stuff with kids, bro. Like it's quiet for that on all fronts. It's quiet for that. No grace, no. You doing stuff with kids, bro. You doing stuff with kids. Now I do have people, I do have people who get at me about being a journalist and you're supposed to be objective and et cetera, et cetera. Check this out. If I was if I was um, charged or hired to interview Afrika Bambaataa, here's how this is gonna go. I'm not gonna talk to him. I'm not gonna refuse to do the interview. I'm going to do it. I'm also going to be objective to a degree, but I'm not going to talk to him as if he's not guilty. He's guilty. If I was asked to interview R. Kelly, I'm going to talk to him like he's guilty. He's guilty. I would actually really like to interview R. Kelly, but it would be fascinating for me to be able to do that kind of journalism, ask those kind of questions. That would be crazy. But make no mistake, I'm talking to him the entire time like he's guilty. He's guilty. You don't talk to him like he's innocent. I've watched some of the best, uh, you know, news journalists interviewing mass murderers, and you watch that Wayne Gacy interview, and things of that nature. You watch these people interview those. They're guilty. You talk to them like they're guilty. You try to make they're guilty. They know they're guilty, and you have the conversation from the point of view of you're guilty. So let's move forward with these talking points, with the knowledge on the table that you are guilty of the crime, and we just move from there. That's me being a journalist. That's the approach. That's the journalistic approach. For everyone who's asked me that question, that's how I would handle that. You put your personal biases to the side and you do the job, but you can do the job just relying on the facts. And that's pretty much how I'm looking at this whole Bambaataa situation. You acknowledge the situation based on the facts. The facts are that Bambaataa was a sick man and he hurt people who did not deserve to be hurt, and in some of the worst ways possible. And that's something we got to deal with. So one of our founders just happened to be a sick man. He was able to help cultivate a culture that we all love and enjoy, and give that to the world. And it just so happens that something else he contributed to the world was extremely harmful, was harmful and sick. I could have not mentioned him at all and been good. And yeah, I know, I know. I could have just completely sidestepped this thing. But I'm a cultural, as a cultural advocate, when people start asking you these kind of questions, I feel. Let me say this, and this is, and I'll wrap it here. We won't talk about this anymore after this. But I feel that even the antagonistic questions that I got, like people looking for the gotcha moment with me, even those antagonistic moments are based in people looking for ways to process what this is. Even if they just ignore it a second later, I think some of the questions, the majority of push that I got to talk about this in the first place, coming from people who are trying to process this. They're diehard hip hop heads, but they're having issues dealing with the fact that this guy, who's partially responsible for this great thing that we love, was a very, very sick man who did a lot of damage to people in this world, a lot of undeserving damage to the people in this world. And you hope that he has, more benefactors than victims. But even if he did, those victims, that's not something you overlook. Those victims need to be taken into account, and the nature of the crime needs to be taken into account. And this is a sick crime. So I completely forget. I completely dig it. Right. I completely get it. For the people who are looking for a way to process it, I understand the people who got at me in the comments, and you're a journalist, so how you deal, so what would you say if you got the chance to interview? If you had to interview, I'd interview him. I didn't. I do the job. I do the job, but I wouldn't shoot him any bail. I wouldn't give him any grace. I wouldn't talk to him like he was innocent. I'm not doing that. That's not the job. The job is not to try the case in print. It's already been tried in court. He's guilty. You talk from the perspective that he's guilty. That's how I've done all of them. He's guilty. So you talk like he's guilty. And I again, you I believe most of the guys, just, and this is me shooting grace. This is me shooting bail and giving grace. I believe most of the pushback that I got in my comment section and in DMs and group chat, I believe most of that are people trying to find a way to process this information for themselves. The folks who even care about Bambaataa, the ones who went to the Zulu Nation, parties and rapped and for Bam, and was spinning at the parties, and the cats who remember breakdancing and like, oh man, he seemed like such a cool dude. I understand that. I understand that. Most sick people don't let you know how sick they are, bro. You gotta let that go. He's guilty. Like, I don't care if he didn't do it to you, or didn't do it to somebody, he did it. You have to let that part go too. That's another thing. You processing this thing, put your personal biases out of it, like you expect me to do, and just move from the perspective that the man is guilty and he was sick. He was not well. And he did a lot of harm. He did some good and he did some harm. And the nature of the harm he did needs to be addressed, cannot be ignored ever. So when you're about to say, when you're about to wish a rest in peace to bro, stash that and wish peace and healing to his victim. Shout out to Mark Lamont Hill for that one. That's a gem. That's a gem. Push button producer. Oh, got a super chat for hot tea. I'm not sure I exactly know what you mean by that. Maybe if I go back and look. Fatima, I've struggled with these ideas all week. I'm glad you are providing this balanced but real perspective. I'm glad I can help. Right now, you're an artist. Tell them to go ask another journalist. Okay, L, you got it. You got it. Push button. Yeah, definitely. Thank you for supporting. Let me go ahead and super chat. Let me go ahead and throw a heart on that. Make sure you know I dig that. I don't for hot tea. Oh, okay. I think I know what you meant. Okay, I got you. Um, um. Oh, my voice sounds stressed. Oh, well, bro, I've been. I told you, Gat had bacchanal last night in Brooklyn for on some birthday party business for me and him. I had it on my Instagram, and I spent a long night yelling thank you and thank you for pulling up and thank you and appreciate you being here and all that over the music. And so you sent me a super chat telling me to get some hot tea because my voice sounds stressed. Thank you, bro. I appreciate you. Um, chill out, L. I don't have a Caribbean accent. If I use one, I'd sound like Miss Cleo. Like, don't do that. You don't want my Jamaican accent all over the place. Just because I grew up in South Jamaica, it was Queens, not the island or the Avenue. And I was born in a hospital. That's a whole different thing. Yeah, and my voice is. It was a long night. It was a long night. And I got more to do. Clay, thank you for pulling up. Um, Calvin can talk to you about a bacchanal. Yeah, I know. I know. I'm just, I'm not going to sit here and start fronting now. I'm not Jamaican. I just have the hairdo of one. Um, but yes, we move off this topic. I'm not, yeah, Jafakin for real. Jafakin for, if I did it, Buju Wonton over here. Like, you don't want that. You don't want that. Listen. If you're dealing with it, if you're trying to put that away, you know, trying to put it in perspective, all I can say is he was guilty. He did very sick things to people. He has victims in his life. And we've all done wrong. We've all done wrong, but a lot of us are not running out here looking to purposefully harm innocent people or even children. We don't get down like that. Most of us are not living that kind, are not like that. Most of us. Those of us who like to fight are fighting willing, grown up adult people. We're not. Anyway, I don't know why I'm even drawing that comparison. The two have nothing to do with each other. He was a sick man. He did a lot of damage in his life. And before you wish him an RIP, take that same energy and send it to and wish healing and peace to his victims. And that's how you cope with it. That's how you go. It doesn't reflect on hip hop. Hip hop's bigger than one person. As someone in the comments said, I believe that was Calvin. Hip hop is way bigger than one person. It's a culture. It's not one person. He sparked the idea, but he's a co-founder. There's still Flash and there's it, you know what it is. I'm not gonna sit here and go down the whole line with the mechanics on here, but you know what it is. I'm sure Mac has said the old Ross and Clark. I am finished with you, bro. If you hang with Buster, you picked up some choice words. That's a fact. That is 100% fact. And it does not mean that I'm going to repeat them on here in front of y'all and embarrass myself. That is not a thing. That is not. But yeah, whenever he gets going, All kinds of Yankees and see, I almost did it. No, no, sir. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. Not gonna happen. No Buju Banton features happening over here. It'll be. Oh God, y'all got me going. Okay, I'm gonna get out of here and let you guys go enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Um, I worked for Air Jamaica years ago. I learned a lot. I'm sure you. Yeah. Okay. Um, Clarissa, we everyone has to cope with how you deal with Bam's death is again, I think that's why I was getting the comments I was getting. I don't think people would purposefully getting at me trying to troll. I think they honestly were having trouble coping or processing the fact that one of our founders has passed away, but he was a sick man. So they're trying to figure out how they honor the legacy without ignoring the legacy. And one of those, they're both really, really loud. Both legacies are very loud. One is known for being creative and bright and innovative and amazing and just life generational changing. And the other one does the exact same thing in the negative. In the negative. Just the opposite way. Horrible, horrible, horrible legacies. Like one legacy is positive, the other one's negative, and they're standing right next to each other and they're like neck and neck. So I understand that it's a difficult thing to process, but um, you know, you get through it and you let it go. You don't ignore it, you don't forget it, but you let it go. Those who forget the past are doomed to repeat it. So we don't repeat it. And again, you in them PDF files, this wood chipper material. I got no grace, no love for that. I no love for that. No respect, no grace, no sympathy. I damn near don't want to do any second chances. Like if we could experiment on their brains to figure out how to cut that switch off permanently, I second the motion. Go ahead and figure that out so we can get that out the paint from here on. But I digress. The time is now 5:43. And it is time for wood chipper business. It is time for the garage to officially shut down. I want to thank you guys for joining me on my daily 5 p.m. God willing, I will see you back here on Monday, and maybe my voice will sound less stressed. But no promises. In the meantime, in between time, go and take off your coveralls, hang up your tool belt. Let's get this car off the rack and see where we at. Hit the likes and hit the subs. That's how you show your boy love. Hit the hype and hit the share so people see how we do it around here. I want to give a shout out to all the mechanics worldwide who check in from all corners. We're real heads and we're building a real community. I want to thank everybody who's taking their time to subscribe, everybody who's taking their time to comment, and everybody who's taking their time to hit the alert button so they know when I'm pulling up and you can pull up with me. Um, Tomorrow's the day off. We'll be back in this business on Monday, having the same old good old fashioned hip hop talk. I'm getting into that Remy Ma verse. We are going to talk about that. And in the meantime, in between time, I will bid you all adieu and have a great weekend. The garage is now officially closed for the evening. Thank you for helping me get my repair on, and I'll see you guys on Monday. More Bacchanal Monday. Yo, L, something's wrong with you. Something's wrong with you. I love y'all, man. Everybody be safe. Peace.